Hello everybody, hope you're all well. This is the rig that's in the garden at the moment. I thought I'd do a quick live stream with you guys. Hope you're all doing okay and you're getting a bit of clear weather. Let's see if we've got anyone who will join us this evening. So we're in Nina here, and I thought what we'd do is have a quick look at some objects because it's not quite dark enough yet, so I'm just going to connect all my gear. So basically I've got my camera on, it's already cooled, so it's currently cooled to -5, and filter wheel is on HA, so I'll just double check, just spin it around to HA, and the focuser here is connected, mount's connected but currently parked, so I'll unpark the mount, and the guider is also connected as well. I wonder if I can change my dither pixels. I've been meaning to do that, so I was going to change those to, actually I'm going to change them, yeah, I'll change them to 2. That's cool. And so PhD2 is there, and I'm currently looping. That's basically, so we're pointed at Polaris at the moment. Right, let's have a quick look at some stuff. I think what we'll do, I might go to the Seda region. So in the framing here, we just go to Seda region and select that, and then I'm going to just go and select an offline survey, which is on the, well, sorry, an internet-based survey, and then just load image from that, and then hopefully that should appear any second now. Here we go. So the little spinny roundy thing's finished, and there we go. So we've got some of the Seda region there, and I think what I'm going to do is, so that's Seda, I've got the butterfly shape there. So what I'm going to do is go and just double check I unpark the mounts. I can't remember. Yep, it's unparked. And then in framing, I'm just going to go slew and center. So the mount outside, which is this mount here, which is my EQ3, and it's a 60 EDF, which is reduced with a 0.8 reducer, so it's about 288 millimeters, and then it's got the Pegasus Astro focus wheel and my 533M on there as well. So back in Nina, so it's still slowing at the moment. Hopefully Seda's cleared my house. It's quite early still, so just see what comes up. I've extended my, so I was doing really short exposures for my plate solving, and I was finding it was failing, and I think it was multiple things. A, my EQ3 mount takes a while to settle, and B, when I was using a filter that was quite narrow, I mean they're not that narrow at 7 nanometers, but they're narrower than say a broadband filter, and it was failing to plate solve. So I've extended my exposure time a bit to gather a bit more light, so that it has a bit of a better chance of plate solving. Hey, there are 3 of you watching, which is marvellous. Hello, greetings. Feel free to put a message in the chat. Look at that, it's failed. It's failed because for some reason the mount has moved. You can see it's looking awful there. So I'm actually going to stop this. So stop, and then I'm going to go for it again. Slew and center. So how have you guys been? Hope you're all okay. Feel free to whack any messages in the comments. It'd be nice to hear from you guys. I've got the comments open over here, and I'll keep watching if you want to ask any questions, or if you guys would like me to show you anything, then yeah, please feel free to ask away. There we go. So that's SATA there, which is great. So it's just re-slewing the mount again. Hopefully this will have settled a little bit. There we go. So that's cool. It has now, so you can actually see SATA there, and you can see some of the butterfly shape there from this. So let's you know what, let's live stack this, because this is always a cool thing to do. So I'm going to add this target to sequence just to the legacy sequencer in there. So there it is, and we're just doing HA. I don't need to do that because I'm just going to loop, maybe let's go for 25 for now, 25, and they'll just be 30-second exposures in there. So those are a bunch of lights, which is great. I don't need to do anything else, but I will start some guiding. So here in PHD2, so it's selected little dilly star there and a bunch of other circles for averaging out there, and I'm just going to say start guiding. So this mount, my EQ3 here, is never sensational with its guiding, and I have literally no problem with that at all. It's a wide field setup, this one, so it doesn't have to be super accurate. So I will be astonished if we get guiding that's better than probably 2 arc seconds on there. So that's obviously very low at the moment, but it will creep up, and but that's fine. It's all good, and my polar alignment is actually excellent. So I've just checked it from last night. The scope's been rigged from a previous imaging session. So here we go in Nina. What I actually want to do is open up SharpCap. Go into SharpCap, and we'll just do a live stack. So I'm going to select cameras and then folder monitor camera. So I'll select that one there, and it'll probably just look at a previous folder from yesterday, which is that one there. And then in Nina, I'm just going to start doing some imaging. So I'm just doing 30-second exposures here, which will pop up in the imaging tab. So you can see SATA, and you can see that kind of butterfly region. I've just got a fly that's landed on my microphone. Oh well, hopefully it's cool. Yeah, if you guys would like to ask any questions, feel free to do so. I'm monitoring the chat at the moment, so you're very welcome to put anything in the chat that you'd like to. There we go, so we've got our first exposure there. So let's go into SharpCap now, and we will live stack this. So basically I'm going to browse rather to this evening's folder, so that's last night's folder. So it's the 14th today, so we'll go into the 14th. We'll open that, and these are the two files that it's just opened. So I'm just going to select that, and then we go to live stack, and we get this histogram here, and then we click play. And what happens is whenever there's a new file from Nina going into that folder there, SharpCap will stack it. And in SharpCap you can't actually see because of my head, so if I just move my head, I'm just going to move my head to there for a second. Basically you align the frames, and you want it to stack them, and I've selected Sigma clipping as well, and under stacking that all looks pretty good as well. So we go back to the histogram. So that's cool. So that's now stacking those, and I'm now going to zoom in a bit. Actually, I need to pull the mid back if it will let me. Here we go. There we go. So it's now hopefully you can see a bit of nebulosity there appearing, and if I can now zoom in, I should be able to tweak the black level slightly as well. Just adjust the mids. So this is from the HA filter which I'm using, and you can actually see that's 4 stacked images there. Looking quite cool. So if you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever done live stacking in SharpCap, it's very good, and you can also apply some flats and also darks if you've got them. I'm just doing this for a bit of fun. So that's the Star Seda, and if you look back at where we were in Nina, see this is what, see this huge red spike here, sorry, a bit distracted. This is what this mount does. It just has a huge spike in declination, and then it'll go back to being a straight line, and it will sit like that probably for an hour. So it's not rubbish on the worm or anything like that. It just likes to do it every now and then, and there are no cables caught, there are no animals attacking my mount, the cats are indoors, they can't go and climb on the telescope or anything. It's just really weird, really weird. So it'll be completely flat, it could be completely flat for hours, and then all of a sudden it'll just say, hey, I'm going to go this way. It's very strange, but you know, that's this mount. So let's see in, so that's 7 frames now that we've got stacked. Don't think it's actually looking quite nice, quite pleased with that. Where else should we go? I wonder whether we should we see if we can go to Andromeda. So I'm going to pause this for now. In fact, I'll just come out of SharpCap for now, and let's go back into Nina, and shall we go over to, I'm hoping Andromeda has cleared the trees now, so I'll just stop that and I'll just delete that sequence as well. Okay, so in framing, let's go to M31 and we'll load an image of M31. There we go. So there's M31, and I think we'll add that, add target to sequence, and we will sorry, just go back to framing, and we will slew and center, and hopefully that should go over there. So if you guys would like to ask any questions, or if there's anything you'd like to chat about, please do whack it in the chat. I've got the chat literally over on this side, and then this is the remote PC that I'm currently imaging. I'm going to move my head. I've realised I've lifted in the middle of Andromeda. There we go. Where's the best place for my head? Is my head better there? I don't know. You tell me. Where's the best place for my head to be? Who knows? Right. So this is currently exposing, although this is with an HA filter, so I should probably change the filter to a broadband filter, which I'll do in a minute. So it's taken an exposure, it's plate solved, it's not on target. So you can see Andromeda there though. That's very Andromeda-ish, and that should appear in a minute. Hopefully it should be vaguely centered. So why would that fail plate solve? I think it's because the mount moved. Anyway, okay. So you can see the stars are streaked there. If we go into the imaging tab, you will see especially that they are streaked. There you go, streaky stars. So it's failed to plate solve that, as you'd expect, because it can't recognize a streak as a star. So if we go back into the framing wizard, so it's now got this thing where it delays for a minute, but I can see that we're on Andromeda, so I'm not worried about this. I'm just going to stop this. Again, I don't know why it does this. I suspect it has something to do with this little mount, but it's not a fault, it's a feature. But that's okay. I know about it. Right, so we're on Andromeda. I'm going to start some guiding just because I want to. So we'll loop. It's found a bunch of stars. Nope. Loop. Go back to looping. Stop. Loop. Select star. Cool. Right, so there's Andromeda. Oh, and there's a little piece of space junk going through. Right, and then we'll start guiding. Right, so we're guiding, and I'll now go into the sequencer. I'm going to do exactly the same again, so 30 seconds because I can, and I'll do 25 of these. That's great. I was going to change the filter, wasn't I? Let's change the filter, and we'll go for a UV-IR as a broadband. And this time I'm going to get it to autofocus, because when we start it will need to refocus because I've changed the filter. So because I was on HA, so that's all set up there. And the only last thing I want to do is delete the previous files which were in the Nina folder. So today's the 14th. Those, so these were the ones I took before, so I'll just get rid of those. I don't want to fill this computer up. Okay, cool. So I'm going to click go. It'll start an auto focus routine. There we go. And it should hopefully look pretty good. Right. So it's moving the focuser. It's now exposing. 6 seconds. So we can actually see Andromeda looks quite cool there. There's a little sub-galaxy there as well. You can even see that even from a little 5 second exposure, 6 second exposure, you can see a dust lane there as well. So a little bit of space junk going through, or a satellite, or a plane. It's unlikely to be a plane, it's more likely to be a satellite, I think. Anyway, how are you guys? Nobody's commented anything. I can't see anything in the chat, so please put something in the chat if you'd like to ask any questions, or even just say hello. It'd be lovely to hear from you. So yeah, put something in the chat if you wouldn't mind. That would be grand. It's looking good, the focus curve so far. Now when I live stacked this last night, because I'd gone over to the UVIR filter, it was just white, it was washed out. So we'll see what this looks like when we get it into SharpCap. There we go. So that's the focus curve that we've got. Let's move that across. It's looking quite good. And so we've got our focus. So let's now, yeah, it's looking better. That's cool. I was a bit worried the stars looked a bit out of focus there. So it's now started its first exposure. So let's open SharpCap. Where is it? There it is. SharpCap. And exactly the same routine as before. So we go to cameras, folder monitor camera, and then I tell it where that folder is. So browse to your folder, and it's this one. That's the first exposure that's just come in of Andromeda. So I'll just select that. Wow, it's got a great big satellite all the way across it, which is fine. And then we go live stack, and then the histogram appears. So it's quite washed out, as we can see. So what I might do is zoom in, and I wonder if we can actually just move the black level up. Turn the zoom off for now. There we go, can't see anything now. Hey! Right, and then move this back a bit. Hello, Andromeda. What do you reckon? Somewhere around there? So I don't want to crush the blacks because it's no good. There we go, there's a bit of Andromeda, which is looking pretty cool. So that's 2 frames. We've got another satellite that's just whizzed through there. Let's have a look in Nina. That'll look quite good in Nina. And it's really so obviously I have no calibration frames on this. I'm just going with what I've got. Guiding settled a bit, so it's not doing, so it does perfect straight line, and then it might go haywire for a while, but that's fine. It's looking quite good, guiding. So if anyone has just joined, this is the rig outside. It's the EQ3 mount with an Altair 533M, Pegasus Astro filter wheel, and then the Altair 60 EDF, and then it's just an SV Bony guide camera, guide scope, and then a ZWO 120mm, I think it is, and Pegasus Astro focuser as well. And it works really well. And the best thing about this is the fact that I can just pick it up and carry it in. So I don't need to take anything off. I just switch it all off, unplug it, and I can lift it up and walk inside with it, which is great. So highly recommend a small lightweight setup which you can do stuff with. Let's have a look back in SharpCap. There we go. Gosh, there's so many satellites tonight. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. So that's from 5 stacked images. That's amazing. That's amazing. Andromeda's looking pretty cool. So this is obviously in black and white. It's mono, so you won't see any color detail on this. And this is broadband. It's just with a UV-IR cut filter. Although if you look at the stars, even though my guiding is, I mean, it's getting a bit better now that the mount's settling. Even though the guiding is not fabulous, because it's a wide field setup, if you zoom in, the stars are pretty good. They do look quite good. I mean, actually they look quite square at the moment, but but it's quite forgiving with a a wide field setup. Let's dive back into SharpCap. There we go, that's the image so far. I've been playing with these zooms on SharpCap and they're quite abrupt, so if I was to go 20, that's a bit too small. 33. It does be nice to be able to scroll. Oh, there we go, that's cool. Andromeda's always good value, isn't it? I mean, it is such an amazing thing. Little galaxy there, these beautiful dust lanes. It's just such good value. Right then, auto, that should bring it back. Cool. You can see the vignetting on the scope. My flats would just take that out. So for those that have just joined, hello, welcome. Feel free to put stuff in the chat. I am assuming, let me just bring that full screen. Nope, nobody's put anything in the chat. Please say hello, or if you'd like a mention, just type something and it will appear over here and I will say hello. Yeah, if you've just joined, welcome. And this is the rig in the garden at the moment, and I'm just remoted in, and we're in SharpCap doing live stacks of images which I am capturing via Nina, if that makes sense to everyone, which I'm sure it does. What I'd like to do is go back to in a few minutes, because I've got to go and get my kids to bed. What I'm going to do is set up an imaging session in a few moments, which will be of the lobster claw. So what I'm going to do is probably just have a last look in SharpCap. There we go. And I'm now going to come out of SharpCap, and I'm going to stop all of this, and then I'm going to set up a proper imaging session for tonight. So if I go into the sequencer, and then I'll just stop this for now, and I'm now going to go equipment, and I'm just going to park. So the mount's now parking. So this evening's target, which we're going to be imaging, is actually the lobster claw and the bubble. So bubble and lobster claw. And what I'm going to do is load the previous framing. So I've selected file this time from image source, and then click load image. Now this image here is the HA from the framing of the lobster and the bubble together. So what I'm going to do is select that and then click open, and then because it doesn't know where it is, it's going to do a blind solve on that image. So that takes a few seconds to do it. So there it is. Right, so it's now populated the right ascension and declination for the framing, and you can clearly see here, if I move my head because my head is in the way, Michael Murphy, hello from cloudy Dublin. You're very welcome. Welcome. It's nice to see some people chatting. Cool. Hello, Michael. Yes, so I'm just going to move my head because it's in the way. So actually, whilst we're here, I'm just put me there. So you can see from here we're now in astronomical darkness. So I want to start imaging now, and this is my window across here. So basically, the whole preamble of this video was in preparation to go into astronomical darkness. So anyway, let's move my head because you don't want me in the middle because that's really stupid. There we go. So you can see the claw, there's the lobster claw, this is in HA, and there's the bubble just down there, and on this setup you can get the two framed together, which is really nice. I've got a reasonable amount of HA, I've got some O3 and I want to get a bit more, and I've got some S2 and I want to get a bit more. So I loaded the file there, and then go back to the equipment, back to my mount, unpark the mount, So that's now ready. Back into framing, and then I will slew and center. So that's now slewing the mount to where I want it to go. And in the meantime, I will add this target to the legacy sequencer because it's just easy to use. And I will build my sequence whilst this is doing its thing. So I want it to, oh, I just need to delete M31 as well because I don't want it to be M31. Do I want to save the changes? Do I want to leave these changes? Yeah, that's fine. And I certainly don't want it to be called M31. So I'll just call it lobster. Cool. Great, so that's now set up there. So in the legacy sequencer, he says making a mess. There we go. Just move that out of the way. I want to do 90 exposures, and I want my exposures to be 120 seconds. And my filter, I'm going to start with S2 tonight, so I'm going S2. I want to dither, and I want to do it every 3. 1, 2, 3. And my gain is always 490 offset, because that works for me. So I was saying this earlier. Can you see how streaky those stars are? Imaging. So you can see here, if I zoom in, the mount has slewed, it's not settled, and obviously it can't plate solve little white lines. So that's why it's saying ASTAP is struggling. So I'm going to let, if we go back to the framing wizard, I'm just going to let this wait 44 seconds until it's happy that the mount has settled. What I think I need to do is in my plate solving settings, so if I go into options and then plate solving, and hopefully it should say the time period that it has to wait. So these are basically the settle period. But my settle period's not in there, so it must be in a different, it's under equipment. There's somewhere in here basically where it has a settle period. It might be under general actually. No, I can't see it. Let's just see what happens. Hopefully it should be better this time. There we go, they're better stars. It has plate solved it. It's now started guiding, look, awesome. So it's got the correct target, correct framing, I beg your pardon, which is identical to this now. So that's good. So my guiding has actually started or recommenced, which is good. So that's cool. Right, so I'll close that and go back to the sequence. So that was 90, 120 seconds, S2 filter. I don't want any binning, that's all cool. I want it to focus on the start because we're changing filter because we're on the UV IR filter at the moment, and when it changes filters I want it to focus as well, and when the half flux radius increases I want it to autofocus again. I'm now going to add a second plan and change the filter this time to 03. So that is roughly my plan for tonight. So that will take me, so it's about 6 hours imaging, and it should take me roughly to 4 AM, which is somewhere around here. So that's good. And with any time delays and stuff with dithering, that should all work out quite well. So, because it is guiding, and I've got everything else set up correctly there, I believe, so let's click go. And it should now be spinning my filter wheel to the S2, and now it's going to do an autofocus, and once that has done its autofocus and started the first image, I need to go and say goodnight to my kids. So I will stop this and then probably return if I get a chance in a little while. So let's just see what the autofocus does. Actually, I might just check my filter, make sure it's on S2. Equipment, filter wheel, Ooh, oh, there you go. Filter current is S2, so that's fine. That's looking good so far. Imaging. Oh, there's loads of satellites or rubbish going through the scope this evening. So we're nearly there with the focus. It's normally, for this setup, it's normally about 4,000 steps. It varies through the night slightly, so I always make sure I have the half flux radius box ticked to on. Oh, now here you go again. Look at this. Remember that lovely guiding we're having all the way along? And then my mount decides to turn into a chocolate teapot. What is going on? So why would you just be perfect all the way along and then say, yeah, for a bit of fun, I'm going to go nuts, and then it'll go back to being normal again? It's just weird. It really is. Very, very odd. I might have to dismantle it and see if something's gone wrong. Right, back in Nina. Let's have a look. So, autofocus has done its thing, and the first 2-minute exposure is about to come in. So we'll just see this 2-minute exposure, and then I will say goodbye for now. See, the mount's doing weird things again. So it's gone nuts, then it's compensated, and then it's decided to go nuts again, but going in the opposite direction. If you have any idea what that would be, I'd be very interested to find out. And now I bet this will be fine. I wonder if it did this and overcompensated, and then it drifted this way, and then it's brought it back up again, and now it's saying, oh, I've remembered I'm not a chocolate teapot, I'm an astronomy mount. Yeah, so it's come back now. Weird. Okay. So, not long now, and we'll see the first exposure. Sorry, you don't know if you can see what I'm looking at. So I'm getting my timing from this bar, just here, which is just about to finish. So I'm going to move my head over here now. There we go. There we go. There's the first image, and there's not a lot to see really, but the bubble is there. If I try and zoom in on the bubble, will it let me zoom in? There we go. Stars are actually looking quite good, even though the mount went nuts. So that's the bubble, just there, and the claw is somewhere around this area, and there's more satellites coming through. Okay, I'm going to go and put the kids to bed. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see if I get a chance later on to come back live, and we'll see what it's doing. It might not be very long later because I'm getting tired as well. So take care everybody, and if you are imaging, I hope it's all going well, and I'll speak to you all hopefully in a little while. So now I have to work out how to end a stream. I think probably best to go into OBS to do it. Okay, take care everyone.